It's extremely easy to find a property to buy in Dubai. There's a ton of options available. You can buy a penthouse, a one bedroom, a studio, a duplex, literally whatever you want is available. But here are the things you need to look out for before buying a property here in Dubai, because there are some crucial mistakes that you could make if you go in blind. So in this video, I'll be going over the top mistakes you have to avoid if you're planning on investing here in Dubai. If you don't know me already, my name is Kevin McKenzie. Here at GenZone, we help people find investment properties and use properties, or in some cases, both. And of course, if you're looking for that assistance and want our assistance to help you not only buy the property, but potentially also help you get a golden visa, establish your bank accounts, we can do all of this here at GenZone. Just book a call using the link down below, or send us a message on WhatsApp by scanning this QR code or by clicking the link below. So the number one mistake is skipping your due diligence on a developer. I've seen it time and time again that people just go into developers' offices, get impressed by the beautiful mock-ups, don't know anything about the developer's past history, and just pull the trigger. Now, of course, this depends on a lot of factors. If the developer is actually good, then great, this is good. You made a quick decision and you made the right one. But oftentimes, other people will unfortunately get you into a project by a developer that has no history, no track record, but a big problem's coming ahead. And the reason why someone would put you into a project by a bad developer is that they oftentimes pay out higher commissions. They're more open to paying higher commissions because they have less demand. So they generate more demand by paying higher amounts of money to the agents that are selling their project. So before you actually choose a property, look at the developer's history. What have they done? If they're a brand new developer, did they do construction before? Were they a construction company before? What did they hand over? What is on the market now? What are their projects renting for? What is the actual appreciation on their projects? What are the developers' complaints? For example, what complaints are the tenants making in regards to the developer? Are there any at all? Are they? In some cases, some developers actually have no complaints, but this is very rare. Usually, most established developers have complaints. So if you can find a developer that doesn't have any complaints, that's another great benefit. So you want to look into everything about this developer before actually pulling the trigger. And in this stage is actually where you can probably find a really good developer in some cases in terms of value. There are some developers that are new, but not so new that they don't know what they're doing, but they're new enough to give you good value in terms of what you're investing in. Getting in early gets you something cheap, but getting in too early gives you something very risky. Now, the next thing is falling to unrealistic payment plans. If a developer has a payment plan, please don't just look at the percentages and say, yes, this is fine. Actually think about what you have to pay and think about if this lines up with your actual finances. For example, if a payment plan says you have to pay 1 million dirhams in the next 12 months, well, you should at least have 1 million dirhams of income coming in to cover these payments. Otherwise, you will be late. And if you're late on your payments, you will face fines, penalties, and in some cases, the developer will take the unit back from you and resell it on the market back to their clients. I've seen this happen, that the developer launches the project at, let's say, 4.6 million, and then now they're reselling it because someone is distressed. They'll resell it to someone else for 5.1. This happens a lot. I see it all the time, and literally these are the exact numbers of a 2-bedroom I'm talking about in Dubai Island. And you might be wondering, why is there such a difference in price? Well, because the people who got in early got in at a better value. Now the market price is higher for that same project. So the people who became distressed and are getting this unit taken from them aren't just losing like the 4% government fee, they're also losing that appreciation that should have been theirs. They should have been the one that gained that 400,000 or whatever, right? So this is super important. 400, 500,000 in this time is a lot of money to consider, because it's, yes, not something that was ever in your pocket, but it's unrealized gains that are being taken away and the developer is just taking it. Now, the next thing is ignoring service charges. Don't ignore the service charges on a building. This is very important to keep in mind, because this is actually what's going to directly impact your returns, right? If building A costs 10,000 AED to maintain and building B costs 20,000 AED per year to maintain, I would rather be in building A that has less service charges because it's cheaper, if of course A and B are the exact same thing. Because for example, if you want to calculate your net rental yields, you'll take your rent that you're renting it out for, minus your service charges, minus whatever other expenses. So it's important to take this in mind, because not all buildings are the same. Now, if you don't know what service charges are, these are the fees you have to pay the building to maintain the building. So for example, let's say it's 10 dirhams per square foot. This is what you have to pay. This doesn't exist really, but as an example, right? I mean, if you're buying a villa, it's going to be less than that, but for apartments, it's always usually 15 to 21, in some cases even more, in dirhams per square foot. But for example, 2 dirhams would go to this, 2 dirhams would go to that. like AC maintenance, cleaning, the actual fund for the building in case of any emergencies. Like, this is important to keep in mind. Now, the next thing is just overpaying for a project. Some people fall into the hype that the project is going to sell out, and yes, it does sell out and it is a hot project, but is the price per square foot actually fair? And I've seen this in other areas around the UAE where projects are selling out, but they're selling out at an expensive price. And this happens a lot with really, really big developers who can just do it because their brand name is so strong. Now, I'm not going to say that they won't appreciate, but maybe the price is already priced in significantly. And I've even seen some projects in some areas, for example, Dubai Maritime City. There's a project right beside this other project that is basically the same thing, and it's selling for, let's say, 3.5K, while this other one is selling for 3K. So you need to keep this in mind. Like, for example, you can get a high floor in the other building for 3.5K when you're getting a low floor in the other building here for 3.5K. So like, it's all, important to keep in mind when you're buying something. So you're not always getting good value if the project sells out. You need to make sure that the actual value is still there. Now, the last thing is you need to factor in hidden fees. If you buy something that's worth 1 million, you're not paying just 1 million. You're paying 1 million plus 4% DLD. And then if you're buying a ready property, 2% broker fee, agency fee, of course. And then if you're buying off plan, there's no agency fee. And then finally, you have to pay other costs like the trustee office costs. So keep in mind that when you're buying a property, do plus 6%, 6.5%. This is roughly what you're going to pay in fees, like 6.5%. And if you're buying off plan, just expect 4%. This is what you should be paying. Now, the last thing is not working with a broker slash agent who is actually RERA certified. There's so many brokers who fly in from any country here and just start selling real estate without being licensed or working for a licensed brokerage. I see this all the time. I even see big established companies running ads on Facebook and they don't even have a broker license. They close deals through other people. This is not something that should be okay here. And of course, the regulations are finding these people, but they're not always getting caught. So just make sure that the person you're working with actually has a broker card and is actually licensed to sell property here in the UAE, because if they're not, then you might fall victim to scams. They might not know what they're talking about, and things just overall wouldn't go as smoothly. If I go to the doctor to fix something in my body, I better hope that the doctor has all the degrees and certificates necessary for that. But of course, just having a broker card still doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. So if you want to work with a team who knows the Dubai market inside out, who actually buys properties here themselves, you can book a call using the link down below, or again, scan the barcode found anywhere on this video, and we would be more than happy to help you personally with all of your investments here in the UAE. But if you're not ready to book a call just yet, this video right here will go over more about Dubai real estate.